Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go straight into our second men's semi-final, and it will be between Canada and Germany. Please welcome first the former Klondike Open champion from Canada, Robbie Mills. Robbie's opponent, he is from Germany. Put your hands together, Frank Bruns.
Who will play Barry van Peer in the final of the WDF World Cup Men's Single Championship? That is what we're going to find out in this match, the second semi-final between Canada and Germany. It is Frank Bruns and Robbie Mills, two players who was very, very good in their respective quarterfinals yesterday. And I would say on paper, I think Robbie Mills would be the favorite, Andrew, but yesterday Frank Bruns in the quarterfinal, he played with an 86 average and has produced some very good performances throughout the tournament. So there's no saying that he doesn't have the ability to go all the way to the final.
No, absolutely. I think Frank is, you know, we spoke about this yesterday, that the German team is, they run their own domestic circuit, and, you know, Frank maybe is someone that a lot of people aren't familiar with, but he's shown a really good game here in Esbjerg. But yeah, Robbie Mills, he's been hugely impressive. Someone I gave a mention to a little bit earlier on in the stream, Rory Hansen from Western Canada. He's actually been in touch to say that he's supporting from home, but he actually was beaten by Robbie Mills in the qualifier to be part of this Canada team. And yeah, Mills has been brilliant. He started out the tournament with 100 average against Tertius Scheepers from South Africa, and there's been a number of 90 plus averages since then, including in yesterday's Bruns 140 there from Frank Bruns. He's made a very positive start. But yes, Mills averaged over 90 in a number of games, including in that quarter-final yesterday with Brandon Weaning of Australia, in which he took out big finishes of 108 and 151, which this live crowd absolutely loved. But he's been playing some good darts, Mills, but it's important to say, a bit like Barry van Peer in the last game, he's had to face match darts in this tournament already. I think it was the last 32. He took on Michael Meaney from the Republic of Ireland, and Meaney led 3-2 in that one and missed darts to win it in the decider. So Mills has had the scare and he's made the comeback, and here he is in this semi-final against Frank Bruns. Both men just over the 200 mark after 9 darts. But I think this could be one that goes quite deep. I think this is going to be a very close competitive game, and based on the way both gentlemen have been playing, should be a good game for the fans watching at home and those here in the Blue Water Docken in Esbjerg.
And the conventional route here is for triple 16. That leaves double 16.
Second dart, I think, was a little bit too close to the double, and Bruns tried to correct Mills. He took out those big finishes yesterday. Can he start the right way with a big 115 here? Not to be. Single 19, single 5. But he finds the treble 17. So he's got 40 if he gets the chance to come back. But here's Bruns on double 8. Goes into the 11. And he finds the treble 1. So he's left himself on double 1 when he comes back. If he comes back, should I say. Robbie Mills 3 darts at tops.
And honestly expect Robbie Mills to convert this finish into the first leg of the match, which he does. And Robbie Mills to me has been one of the many surprise packages at this event, but the level and consistency he has shown throughout the week has been incredible. Now, I'm only looking at the averages for the men's tournament, but after 6 games, he has an overall average of 89 and 102 on his first 9 darts. That is incredibly good. And only one real game, as you alluded to just before, where he was kind of underperforming, but 102 average along the way. He is proving that what we already knew about, well, North America and Canada, that there are so many great players. We know some of them because we follow some of the tournaments on Dart Connect, like the regional PDC stuff. But Robbie Mills isn't a player who we have seen on I think it's called the CDC circuit. And to see him perform like this just, again, blows my mind that there are players like him walking around who is capable of doing this, who we didn't know much about before.
Yeah, he's been a breath of fresh air, and I think the same is true of Frank Bruns as well. He's a name that I had never heard of before when I was looking through the tournament. The program for this year's tournament. I was never really heard of him before. I think he's played in the World Cup for Germany before. I think I found that out, but or maybe a Europe Cup. But yes, he's been a very steady player, and
but also a player who has clearly developed the last few years. I looked him up, and well, he participated at Q School in 2020, but he didn't manage to average above 76. So his overall average throughout this week, let's just have a look at this finish here.
Big finish there for Bruns. He's turned the tables on Mills. A 117 for a 15-dart leg, and he breaks back, and we're now 1 apiece in this second men's semi-final.
Yeah, but throughout the week he has an overall average of about 80, which is consistent. It's, let's be honest, we wouldn't expect a player with a tournament average of 80 to be in the semi-final, but he has beaten the players in front of him, and he has deserved to be here, and he has been good when he has really needed to. We spoke about his quarterfinal performance yesterday with almost an 86 average, which is really good. So we know he has obviously developed his game the last few years.
Yeah, he's definitely been a surprise. Both men have been a surprise package at this tournament. You can see down at the front, just behind the stage, Canada have brought a very big contingent to this World Cup. It's not just 4 men, 4 women, 2 boys, 2 girls. They've got full contingent of team managers, family and relations. So there's a lot of Team Canada support out there. And I have to say, having been around the venue and been around all the players all week, Canada have definitely got to be up there for best shirts in this year's World Cup. You know, they've gone with the horizontal lines, which is always a bold choice. But I'm a big fan of the maple leaf and the different colours and the integration of the black and the blue, and the totem pole on the front, which I think is quite cool as well. So definitely the style points go to Canada, although the German one is quite nice as well.
But the style points is, of course, the most important.
Well, of course, yeah. It doesn't matter if you can throw a dart. Style points wins.
Yeah.
Bulgarians were quite good as well, but their darts, unfortunately, were less so. But, you know, it's the taking part that counts. And these men are more than taking part here. Mills has got a dart at the bull. Just the underside of the wire. So Bruns will come back for 112. We saw 117 in the last leg. Can he replicate that here? Nope. He finds the big 5 when he was looking for the big 12. So, quick recalculation. He's got 40 if he comes back. But the way he's playing, you'd back Mills to take out these 25 with these next 3 in hand here.
single 9 for double 8, and now across the board for double 4. This is something that we didn't expect at the start of the match, but nonetheless, Frank Bruns from Germany is now in front 2-1 against Robbie Mills, who has been very good this week, and therefore I still regard him as the favorite.
Yeah, this is a big. This feels, every leg feels big because I think this is going to be a close game, but I think this feels like an important leg here, because if Bruns wins, it's a break of throw. He's 3-1 up, and then suddenly Mills is under the sort of pressure he's not really been under this week. But you know, hold on, 2-2, and then suddenly, you know, the pressure is back on Bruns because you've got to hold your throw. You've got to, you know, keep trucking along and finding your rhythm. But both men a slightly scratchy start to this fourth leg. He's got a very nice follow through.
I
Robbie
was
Mills.
just about to say, Andrew, it's such a deliberate throw, but still, as we spoke about in some of the youth games, this is also a throw where there's really not much that can go wrong. A very, very solid follow through. Not much motion in the body, so it's very easy to replicate that throw in the same manner every single time, which really is the key to consistency in the game of darts. Whereas you can see Frank Bruns, if he was to go to a darting coach, there I'm sure he would be told that it would be beneficial for him to work on his follow through in the future, just to secure that bit more of consistency, especially under pressure where you really need to rely on your action.
Yeah. No, I agree. You see Mills is doing the thing that I remember watching Wayne Mardle's coaching videos on YouTube, where he would always say, point where you're aiming. Point where you're aiming. You see Mills does that. The hand goes out in the direction he's aiming the dart.
And now he's aiming at double 16.
Just inside, but Bruns nowhere near on 184. Can he apply a little bit of pressure here? No, he can't. Just 59, which means Mills will come back for double 8. Finds it first time, and you hear a big roar from the Canadians up the front. Their man levels the scores at 2 apiece.
Yeah, so here we can have a really good look at the throw of the two players. As you can see, Frank, he doesn't really have this follow through that Robbie Mills has got. And this is a part of the game that are much more spoken about these years, the coaching and the technical aspects of the action of the players. I think you just alluded to Wayne Mardle, who is pretty much the pioneer of this part of the game, but there's a lot of different players who also do coaching as well. Just look at this throw. This is very good. You could argue that the elbow perhaps lifts a little too much, but these are very, very small margins. I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate here. If I could throw like Robbie Mills, I would be very happy.
Yes, oh, I certainly would. But yeah, I mean, the darts coaching is something that's developed. I know Dave Whitcomb seemed to have a problem with it on social media the other day.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. But I also, we spoke about Raymond Smith, who I know, I follow him on Twitter, or I should call it X now, and he has some very good points about coaching, and that just proves that coaching isn't just something that some of the English players are doing. It's something that is now all across the world. And I was in Japan over Christmas and New Year, and darts is very big in Japan in these soft tip environment. And if you look at the way the Asian players throw, it's very technical correct. So I expect big things from Japan and yeah, China and whatever these Asian countries in the future. But right now it's Frank Bruns who is doing great things. A 14 darter to go in front 3-2, and he's now only 3 legs away from playing against Barry van Peer in the final of this World Cup.
But no, I think the coaching is something that can be hugely beneficial, because when we all start playing darts, we all develop our own natural kind of throw and a natural cadence to the way we play the game. But that doesn't mean that it can't be tweaked or it can't be improved. And it often is useful to have someone else look at your throw and actually be able to say, well, maybe do this or maybe do that. I remember I went to the England Open a couple of years ago, and I was using a set of, I think they were Andy Fordham darts. I think they were 22, 23 grams. And a guy on the board next to me, when we were practicing, he said, the way, he was watching my darts go on the board, he said, I honestly think you would be much better if you were throwing a slightly heavier dart because of the way you throw and the way they're going. He said, try a 26 gram. And I tried his 26 gram darts, and, And
you still averaged 36.
Correct. Well, no, I think the average went up to, 41. But, it felt a lot better, and they were sort of, I got the pitching right, and now I use 26, 28 gram all the time. So sometimes it's really nice to get that kind of second opinion. And, darts is often a very solo sport, a solo endeavour, but there's no reason why you can't get other voices in the room to give you advice. And I think the coaching's a big part of that. We can't all be John Lowe and have, the perfect throw, but, we can all learn things, and I think that's one of dart's great appeals. You have players of all ages, all shapes, sizes, able to play the game to the same level. You've got Luke Littler, but then you've also got Wayne Warren winning the world title at 57, 56, 57. Peter Wright winning a world title in his 50s. Robbie Mills here misses 2 darts at double 11 to level up the score. We've seen one big finish from Frank Bruns already. Can he make it 2 and take a 4-2 lead? No.
But yes, even though it's not an easy double for Robbie Mills here.
Does the smart thing and splits it, but can't find the double 8, and I have a feeling he's going to be punished here by his German opponent, Mr. Frank Bruns. And my thoughts are ultimately proved correct. Bruns finds double 10 with his 3rd dart, and he now leads 4-2. And there's the big break he was looking for.
But just another word on the coaching theme. I often experience that, especially newer players, when they walk into a darts club and then they want to play darts, they are very much left to themselves on how to learn how to throw, and you don't see that in many other sports than darts, that people are told the only way that is correct for you to throw is the way you feel is natural and comfortable, and obviously that just cannot be true. If I go to a golf course, the way I will start playing the game will no doubt be incorrect, considering how a golf coach would teach me how to do it. And I actually went back in February. I went to the JDC coaching course in I think it was Bridgend in Wales. And this is a big part of the game that is really developing, and I think not only the JDC but in a lot of organizations, this is a thing that we have only seen the tip of the iceberg. In the future, their players will be so much better consistently, simply because we are talking about what is technically correct, but more importantly, what is technically incorrect to do when you're throwing.
Oh, definitely. I think there's huge benefit, and it's a field of darts that's developing and growing all the time. And I think it's fantastic. You know, we talked before about 14 darter there from Robbie Mills, brings it back to 4-3. And now the Canadian is back on throw, hoping to level up the game. But, you know, we spoke before about, you know, youth players having more opportunities than ever to play the game. And I think the coaching is the same. You know, whether you are working with a coach or whether you're using a system like Go Darts Pro or you're using Dart Connect, or, you know, whatever it might be, there are so many more tools out there now for them to succeed and develop at a younger age and learn things about your throw, about yourself, about the way you play the game at an earlier stage than, you know, a lot of the players who are senior pros now probably would have done when they were, you know, 14, 15, probably just having a chucker that, you know, for fun. You know, I think it's a sign of the sport professionalizing in that way, that you are training and developing yourself in a structured way, in the way you would in other precision-based sports like archery or something like that. So I think it's a huge positive, and very cool that, you know, you did that JDC coaching course. How did you find that?
I saw Paul Nicholson tweeting about it, and then I got in contact, and I have had the privilege of working with Jamie Caven on a few occasions, so he had spoken about it as well. He's obviously also involved in some ways or another in the JDC. So if there's anyone out there who wants to develop their coaching skills or just wants to know a bit more about, well, darts coaching and the technical aspects, well, that is a way to do it. Now, Robbie Mills, after going out in 14 darts, follows it brilliantly with a 13 darter, and the game is now back at 4-4. And even though Frank Bruns has the throw, it's Robbie Mills who is averaging 91 against the Germans 80, which of course gets a bit higher with that 180.
No real reaction though from Bruns. Mills has certainly shown his delight, those big finishes yesterday, but Bruns just seems, I don't know if it's classic sort of German steely nature. It's just sort of like all the darts are the same. Well, I doubt he's very happy about that treble one, but I'm sure you and the people listening understand my meaning. But yeah, Mills certainly gone through the gears in those last two legs, showed what he's capable of. And I think that will be the key for these last few legs now. We're effectively best of three now in this game. You know, if Mills plays the way he can, you know, you would make him the favourite. But Bruns is scoring very well in this leg, a 180 and a 140 in his first 9, down to 138. Mills needs a maximum or as good as to be on a finish, and he's not going to do it. First start too high.
He leaves 80, and he knows he will come back with 3 darts, and you would expect him to at least get 1 dart at a double. Robbie Mills opting for the 25 on the last dart. Oh, that is a poor decision by Frank Bruns, if I have to be honest.
Yeah, a poor decision, and not great execution. Now Mills has a chance if he can find the treble 19, which he does. He's got a dart at tops for a big finish of his own and to take a 5-4 lead. Just short. So Bruns is slightly curious decision making on that 80. He gets a bit of a let off here. Can he capitalise here as he approaches tops? First time, 16 darter, and the German leads 5-4 here in Esbjerg. Mills wins this leg. We've explained it already, but if Mills wins this leg, we get a bull up on the stage for the deciding leg. As Robbie's name is first in the draw bracket, Robbie will throw for the bull first, and then Frank will throw. If they're both in the same section of the bullseye, you go again, but in reverse order. And if they're outside the bullseye, you measure the distance. Or the referee, in this case, Mr. Nick Rolls, will measure the distance. Ooh, the maximum here would be massive for Mills. The 140 is still pretty good, though. Mr. Rolls already had to do that once in this game. Ulrich Hofkins and Jensen Walker in the boys' final earlier on. But he will potentially have to do it again here, as these men, there's not a lot to separate them so far in what's been a good quality second semi-final here.
Now this is a real opportunity for Frank Bruns here. 2 triples would really help him. But those were 3 of the worst starts he has thrown the whole match, and that's probably not a coincidence. This is the business end of the match. And Robbie hasn't had too many really loose starts. He has been extremely consistent.
Still not on a finish, so Mills has got at least 6 darts at this 1-4-1 to level the match. Treble 5 means he will have to come back, but he finds the treble 20 with his second dart and then finds the 14. So he's left himself on 52, which is a steady finish for the Canadian. Let's see what dent Bruns can make in this 180. Not a very big one, just 44. So here comes Mills. Expect we're going to that bull up on stage. Ooh, he finds the big 9. Correct. Double 16. This would be a hell of a way to win it for Mr. Bruns now.
It really would. 2 trebles needed. He will go for the triple 20. Almost made it early in the match, but he doesn't get a shot at it here. However, he leaves 40, so there's maximum pressure on Robbie Mills to take out this double 8. Now double 4. Double 2.
Chases it round the board and falls short. So here we go. Frank Bruns has 3 match darts. Will he need them all, or will we be going to a decider?
Just in the top corner of the double 10. That means that Frank Bruns is through to the final. The real big surprise package in the semifinals are through to the final as well. Robbie Mills was the favorite. I think he did prove himself very well. However, it is Frank Bruns who will be up against Barry van Peer in the final later tonight. A big result, not just for Frank Bruns himself, but for German darts in the history of the WDF World Cup.
Clearly a very emotional moment for him and the whole German team, as you see them celebrating here on the stream. I think we've got a little break now before the women's final, the All England women's final between Bo Greaves and Dita Hedman.
So stay tuned. There's plenty of darts to be thrown still, and we will be very excited to watch them here at the Granley Hockey Arena, and we hope to be accompanied by you here on the stream. So stay tuned.